Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this could be episode 157 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of the episode this week. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Eastern and Western Conference finals that are going on right now in the NBA world. So we'll start off with the Eastern Conference first. We've seen that Boston Celtics sweep the Indiana Pacers Monday night to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. They won this series 4-0, sweeping the Indiana Pacers. So to me in this series, the Celtics look like the much better team, and I knew this was going to happen. It's like all of you guys watching and listening, for the most part, knew this was going to happen to the Indiana Pacers. And they showed that the Celtics showed they were a better team, depth-wise, defensively, just overall better talent than the Indiana Pacers. They look like a really strong team right now, the Boston Celtics do. The superstar duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown look really good together. And now you're seeing other players step up on any given night. Guys like Drew Holiday, a veteran guy that's an former NBA champion. You're seeing him step up. You're seeing Derek White step up in a role that we've really never seen him play in up to this point in the NBA season thus far. And those four players are really, really good. And then you have Porzingis that could be on the way back very soon from injury. So the sky's the limit right now for the Boston Celtics. But this young Pacers team, they got farther than what anybody expected this NBA postseason. They played two banged-up teams. In the first round, they played a Bucks team that had no Giannis, no Damian Lillard. Then in the second round, they played a depleted second-handed New York Knicks team that was hurt with injuries. But I will say the Pacers do have a bright future. Inexperience and not having Tyrese Halliburton did show in this series. It hurt the chances of winning this series when they lost Tyrese Halliburton for Game 3 and Game 4 of the series. Not capitalizing on fourth quarter situations. That's what young teams do. They fail to capitalize in clutch situations, and the Boston Celtics just took advantage of it in this series. That is the reason why they're moving on to the NBA Finals, and the Indiana Pacers are not this NBA postseason. So I do believe that I'll get to how I feel about the Boston Celtics playing in the NBA Finals. Now let's get to Dallas Mavericks series in the Western Conference. The Dallas Mavericks are up 3-1 right now in the Western Conference Finals, one game away from punching their ticket to the NBA Finals. Now, in this series, it's been Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving's world, the perfect 1-2 punch duo. They're electrifying right now in the NBA, an amazing backcourt duo that we're seeing right now in the NBA at the point guard and shooting guard positions. Kyrie Irving, to me, has finally found his aura again. And what I mean by that is I have not seen a focused, aggressive, and a clutch version, all 3-in-1 in Kyrie Irving since Kyrie Irving has played for the Cleveland Cavaliers alongside LeBron James years ago. Yes, he's been a great player with the Boston Celtics. Yes, he's been a good player with the Brooklyn Nets. But nothing like this. And he's turning the clock back to me. That's how great Kyrie Irving has been as of late right now. But I will say this series, for the Timberwolves' sake, Rudy Gobert defensively let me down. And yeah, you could say that there's no all-time, maybe there isn't an all-time great that could stop defensively, that could stop Luka Doncic right now. But I expect more defensively for a man who has won 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards on 4 separate occasions to at least make a difference defensively. The man has not been an X factor in the series whatsoever. And I feel like the Timberwolves would have a better chance in this series if Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't inconsistent for Game 1, 2, and 3. Yes, he showed up yesterday in Game 4, but if he wasn't inconsistent in Game 1, 2, 3, I don't think this series would be 3-1 right now in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Because you look at what Karl-Anthony Towns did in Game 1. He shot the ball 6 for 20 shooting from the field. Then you look at what he did Game 2. Game 2, he shot the ball 4 for 16 from the field. Then Game 3, shooting 5 for 18 from the field. Anthony Edwards needs more help than that, and you're giving him the help, you're giving him more help during the NBA postseason. But I just don't know what happened to him this series. And I just feel like he did, actually, last night, I will give him his credit. He did show up, and if he didn't show up, the Mavericks would have swept the Timberwolves last night. But it's just, to me, this inconsistent Karl Anthony Towns that we need to see more of is the reason why they're down 3-1. I said this series could go to 7, but it seems like it's only a matter of time because the Timberwolves are running out of lives. They're not a cat. They don't have 9 lives. And we all know the Mavericks are going to win this series. So I'll share my NBA Finals predictions because we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks playing in the finals. Now, Minnesota Timberwolves fans out there watching, listen, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but there's nobody in NBA history that has overcame a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs, and the Timberwolves will not do it. So it'll be the Celtics and Mavericks in the NBA Finals. But this is going to be an intriguing NBA Finals because the storylines are there. Kyrie Irving playing his former team in the Boston Celtics. You have Porzingis, who is a part of the Boston Celtics, but once upon a time played in Dallas with Luka Doncic. It was his tag team partner, the tag team duo of Luka and Porzingis. A lot of people at the time were thinking it could have been the next Dirk and Steve Nash in Dallas. It didn't happen like that, but there's a lot of storylines here, and the storyline also is which dynamic duo is going to show up and play the most in a 7-game series. Who you can trust? Luka and Kyrie, or the Tatum, or the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the NBA Finals. And then I'm looking at the defensive matchup. Can Jrue Holiday slow down Luka Doncic? This is something nobody has slowed down Luka this postseason. And Jrue Holiday is one of the best defenders left. He was one of the best defenders in the entire NBA postseason. So I think it's going to be a big if for this, and another big if for this NBA Finals is if the Boston Celtics are ready to play an elite team. They skated by round 1, played the Miami Heat with no Jimmy Butler. Round 2, they skated by playing a Cleveland Cavaliers team that eventually lost Donovan Mitchell, and they didn't have Jared Allen there for them in the series. Now you just played a young Indiana Pacers team that didn't have Tyrese Halliburton for Game 3, Game 4. Out in the West, the Dallas Mavericks have been battle-tested the entire NBA playoffs. But the Celtics have gotten the cakewalk all the way up to this point. This is going to be an intriguing NBA Finals. I'm looking forward to it. I'll save my prediction for next week's episode, but I will say the NBA Finals this year is going to be really intriguing to watch. But those are my thoughts on the Eastern and Western Conference NBA Finals. And those are my thoughts on what we could see in the NBA Finals very soon.